Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly he's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly he's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly he's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.
Alright, bonjour, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone doing? Are you winning? Sell in May and come back next year, the Open.
Avoid online.
I have not traded myself to YouTube Premium yet. Blow your ears off. Boomer Charlie strikes again. How's everyone doing? Are you winning? Reckon June till too soon. Yes, Moonboy. Counteract some of this bearish sentiment. Just bought a coin on ARB which hasn't even got a website. That is a big dub. Big dub. Just think about the development opportunities that they're, you know, that's the is the website priced in? Do you know what I mean? When they launch a website, that's a 10x right there, not financial advice. Educational purposes only, etc. But now, in seriousness, how's it been? It's been a good week, I think, since I did a public stream, and it's been quite a journey. The website fundamentals. Yeah, phase 1, buy coin. Phase 2, launch website. Phase 3, profit. The classic scam. Exactly you're thinking when you aped. Lovely. I like that you actually qualify that as thinking. It's been an incredible couple of weeks, I think, in terms of like the whole Pepe saga. Start a foundation and scam even more? Yeah. Rebrand it to a baby? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they had what? Baby Doge? I've actually got that on my watch list. Fucking Baby Doge? What? The reason I like it is this. Like, look at that. What the fuck even is that? Only fan of Charlie. Oh, man. Fucking hell. That's not true. My mum is a fan. Fucking hell, I'm getting destroyed. Bobo chat in a stream. Oh, what's my life become? What's my life become? Pepe Doge next. Yeah, let me go through the whole animals. That is my mum's Twitch. Yeah, it probably is actually. It probably is. My wife oscillates between a fan and not a fan, so, you know, it's kind of fair that I've only got one that's dedicated. Actually, my daughter, she's a fan all the time, but she's in bed, so yeah, it's probably by process of elimination. My mother. Hello, Mum. Thanks for joining me on stream. But anyway. Hello, Wolf Packham. Yeah, Baby Doge. So you do get the website, then do like baby derivatives of it, then we go through the cats, the seals, the mongoose, whatever. I've actually got a ridiculous bag of mongoose coin somewhere in some wallet, and probably one of the 4,000 mongoose coins that got launched after what's his face talked about it in way back when. Only fan Charlie has is the ceiling fan in his living room. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But anyway, should we talk about some cryptos? It's not been my favourite conditions to trade, to be honest, the last couple of weeks. And I think you can probably all see why. It's this. Simply the fact that only a couple of alts, and like Floki of all of them, are actually outperforming BTC. And this is pretty systemic of the last week or two, really. There's been a few rotations, and I'm talking about, you know, centralized exchange spot bags, right? I'm not talking about your Pepe and your Dogecoin Minus and all this bollocks yet. We'll talk about that later. But, you know, this level of essentially low beta shitcoinery is just, it's just shite conditions for me personally. That combined with the fact that when I'm trading BTC, I basically get bored and I've realised that my attention span in terms of trading BTC when you're used to playing alt rotations is, yeah, it's going. It's I think once you've tasted the speed and the adrenaline of the pump, and you've been getting yourself reasonably used to decent rotations within a few hours, average trade time being like between 30 minutes and sort of 2 hours 30, it becomes quite dull to trade BTC. Hello, Born. Hello, Old Man Tom. So yes, bit boring. However, off the charts and on the degeneracy of shit like on-chain, it's been quite entertaining. Did any of you manage to catch Pepe? Joy that was. Any Pepe holders in the chat? No, you played with Ree. There's so much dog shit. It's great. Pour some salt in the timeline, that's for sure. Yeah. I mean, I marvel in disbelief at the stupidity of some people dunking on someone for, selling 2 million worth of Pepe for 1.7 or what it was after slippage. Like, I think if you're sat there watching it and you're probably watching it fluctuate by like $1,000 or $2,000 every couple of seconds. By the looks of that wallet, it was reasonably poor. So, had a few $100s here, there, and everywhere, but that's it. Like, I think I'd just be happy if I was in that position to go, well, do you know what? As soon as I start selling, people are probably going to panic. So, fuck it, let's just tank the market. Can't keep track of all the dog shit. Yeah, it does feel like peak euphoria in that respect, doesn't it? In terms of sort of market cycle. Good morning, Doc. Working short Pepe? I actually don't know. I mean, I tend to avoid shorting hyperparabolic meme coins just purely on the basis of liquidity. It tends to be dog shit, and they're so volatile that the RR just is rarely there for me unless it's the clean setup, which this was kind of equal highs. So after parabolic run, I'd have probably shorted in here if I was actually going to trade it. That's quite a nice, lower high. Maybe could have even forced it there, but I wasn't trading it, so I can't really, hindsight laugh about it. Wait, AI Doge airdrop? The hell is AI Doge? Shows you how behind I am. BitMEX is listing perps for Pepe. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. You're going to get the Arthur special, I reckon, boys. It's going to go along like this, and then it's just going to go boom boom. Arthur sends his love. It's over for Pepe once Binance listing. I mean, that was the FTX curse, wasn't it? FTX used to just list the perp here, and that would be it. Game over. GG, no re. BitBoy tweeted about how to buy Pepe. Oh, you've got AI Doge too. Oh, I might have to look into AI Doge. One of my friends got like 100 wallets worth of ARB stuff, so I'll point him in that direction. See if I can get a finder's fee. 2x on your ARB shitcoin. Yes. Wait till the website launches, mate, honestly. It's going up. 20x now. But I mean, I looked at Pepe, I think it was the 14th or something. Or the 16th, it was the Sunday. Sunday the 16th, I looked at it. And I was like, Pepe, hilarious. I was like, I should ape some of that shitcoin. And then and then I did a cash tag search, and I was like, no, it's just a bunch of scammers that are fucking tweeting about it. So I didn't put any cash in it. And that was like, way back when. I think it literally peaked at 200x that price. But when you've got half your phone is Pepe, actually probably 90% of my phone is Pepe, about 10% of it is you know, pictures of family and all that kind of wonderful stuff. It's a very, very good meme. Nice to see memes not related to Elon do well. It is actually nice to see a bit of risk on in the market, and it's nice to see people making heinous amounts of money. Yeah, because everyone talks about, you know, the 10% move, but actually, you know, on like LDO or something, but not many people are making good amounts of money off that. Let's be honest. You know, people have made hundreds of thousands, if not millions, off these moves. And it's nice. So many setups every week. Yeah, well, you say you miss the volatility when it goes. Like, there's almost always opportunities, right? So even if, you know, vol is probably still going to be there just by the nuance of lots of projects launch all the time. There's going to be, I imagine, a kind of new set of altcoins at some point that do something that we haven't even thought about yet. But I don't think, because this whole market is like 95% speculative premium, right? It's just, if you actually value any of these alts on like a real DCF basis, they're probably worth close to zero, right? And DCF is discounted cash flow. So, you know, how much, if I put $1 million into this project and it pays me every single month, you know, $1,000, like what's my real return on that? And it does that in perpetuity, or it grows at X, inflation is Y, blah, blah, blah. Like, on a discounted cash flow basis, like, how much is this project worth? And in most instances, it's worth 2/3 of fuck all. So, all of these valuations, in the millions, in the billions, a lot of it is based on just what people are willing to pay. 99.99% of DCF for these is in terminal value. Exactly. How did I get visibility? I actually saw someone chill it on the timeline who I vaguely respected as a low, or respect as a low cap chiller. And I was like, Pepe. Oh, a Pepe coin. Clicked it. Went through, went on the website, and I was like, I laughed. And then I looked at the, I thought I'd do like a little bit more research in terms of, you know, token sniffer and all that kind of stuff, and see if it's honeypot. No, it was all fine, all contract was all good. And then I did a search on Twitter and see who was shilling it and who the potential like dev was and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't really want to touch that. So I made a poor choice, and yeah, but it was an informed one. So crypto gives 10x to 100x MC valuation to any RL business when comparing their startup funding, etc. Yeah, of course. What's up, guys? Just woke up. Was in a coma. How are my jewel bags doing? My man, or woman, or they. I don't know. I should never assume. Should we look at Jewel? Oh, that's not bad. Bottom of the range, you know. It's not zoomed too far left just yet. It's probably, you know... Ooh, hang on. Maybe if we can hold down here, generational buying opportunity? I think we're looking at Jewel because I may have tweeted the Jewel meme again, and I get told off for tweeting it all the time. But it just makes me laugh so much every time I see it. The dude with the deal or no deal box, the absolute angst and the ag that guy got for selling, what was it, like up here? He had like 800k's worth of locked Jewel and he sold it for, or was it like 2 million and he sold it for 800k or something like that, and everyone was like, you're an idiot. Like, you would have got 2/3 of fuck all. It's just such a triumph. Such a triumph. And Sats and Ansem were just bullied because they shielded it when it was like $3 and it ran to 20, and they still got the fucking ag of the entire market dumping. And they were like, you dumped Joule on us. It's like, motherfuckers. The stupidity of people is just constantly overwhelming for me. Is Joule perma-locked like X? I can't remember. I think it's locked for... I think there were different vesting periods, so anywhere between like a year and 3 years or something like that, and you got better returns based on how long you locked it up. So yeah, it's similar to X, if I remember rightly. And one of the reasons I never wanted a lot in the DFK DAO was because they didn't have an exit plan. So... And they didn't want me because I only wanted one lot. But I didn't realise I could have more than one lot. But it was kind of one of those things where you look back and you go, actually, that was probably... It probably worked out. But yes. It was a really good idea, I thought. Like, genuinely. You know, it was a good project. A lot of people paid attention to it. It was well marketed, well funded. And it was a really good concept. But, Magistrate dumped. It was this year. Creating the low. You know, several people that sold 6-7 figs of locked Joule, all under the age of 18. Yeah, that's fucking savage. Like, imagine being like I certainly didn't find any form of financial success until I was, you know, well into my 20s. So imagine being 16 and just being like, yeah, here's a couple $100,000. Like, whoosh. It's not just farming with extra steps. It had good music and everything. I mean, what more can you want out of the future of France? But yeah, I think it was incredible. And I think it's just one of those reminders, right? That cycles happen, and if you've made life-changing money, take them off the fucking table, you donut. It's the same with anything, right? Doesn't matter if it can run to $1 billion, right? If you're happy with that amount on the table, no one else gives a fuck about that amount apart from you. No one's going to care that you made 5 million instead of 2. No one is going to give a shit. Right? Simple as that. But yeah, let's jump off that, shall we? Music was the most valuable asset that came from DFK. Yeah, I tend to agree, to be honest. It was great. So Bitcoin, where are we at, boys and girls? We all bullish? We all bearish? What have I been trading? I've not been trading that much the last week or two, to be honest with you. It's been quite, because of this, because of the fact that basically on a rotational basis, like most alts have been pretty shit. Like, let's have a peep. Like in terms of performance, like it's not actually that wide, and not much has outperformed BTC. TRX, just a fucking stable coin. Atom, Sol, CHZ, nah, fuck that. XRP, ugh. And you know, it's just not been great. Very bullish, so waiting for 1 minute, 100k candle. Excellent. Think corn will go a little higher. Have I ever tried prop firms? No, I have not. I've been tempted by it, to be honest, if I could get past the application process and all that kind of wonderful stuff, because I do hear that they are very difficult. But I've got a lot of friends who work at prop firms, or have worked at prop firms. And I think one of the main reasons that you go down the prop firm route is that you need the capital to start with. So I was very lucky back in 2017 that I had some capitals to start with. So yeah, I never ended up going down that route. Whether I would have been successful or not, who knows? Yeah, I mean, Bitbit runs a crypto prop shop. He's a very successful trader. Maru was part of that prop shop. VKTR, you know, some very, very good traders are part of his you know, squad. And the only thing that ever tempts me about applying to join a prop firm is simply the notion of sharing knowledge and having a seeing different sides of the market. But because I've got that through, contacts that I've got, through the Paragon Group, through just being active in the space and sharing ideas behind the scenes with some of the best traders, on crypto Twitter, I kind of don't need it. You know what I mean? And of course, the main reason I think of having your own capital and actually trading that. Bitcoin run the meme line you've had drawn for months. Yeah, I mean, I think all we're really waiting for today, like as of now, we're kind of just sat here waiting for CPI tomorrow, right? There's not really much point in taking any fresh positions. I mean, I had an outlook this morning. I basically said, well, you can see my squiggles. We'll delete this and we'll sort of start again. But all I was looking for was a breakout of this and just long up to here, and then literally potentially get on board a short, and it would have been something like this. But guess what time I walked away from the computer, and yeah, it was about here, so it was 2 o'clock, so it was there. So that was like my entire day of waiting for a trade setup that deal with that rubbish that I basically missed. And that is the wonderful joy of trading that they don't show you on TikTok. And INJ. Name is the name's got my trading style. So I basically literally in my outlook said all I'm looking for is this and a potential play on INJ. And that's it. Because it is reasonably high beta. And actually this morning it had a pretty reasonable level of beta off the lows down here, I think it was. And I always get, when you see a coin do this, so when you see a coin, yeah, that was it, because that's when I recorded down here. When you see this, and when you see it, really breaking free from the pack, that's quite a kind of bullish sign. Not necessarily bullish in terms of trend, but just in terms of it's going to be pretty strong in terms of that beta rotation. So I like that. That's good. That's what I want to see. I want to see a bit of volatility outside BTC. Woo? I don't really trade Woo. I've seen it on the timeline quite a lot, but no, I haven't traded it for a while. Charlie working for BitBit would be nice on the timeline. I doubt it'd have, mate, to be honest. Although his trading style is similar to mine, I think, in terms of he plays very high momentum alts, but I think he does a lot of like weighted basket positions, because he's usually got about 20 or 30 positions open at any given time, I think. Sorry for the straight up question. How do short squeezes occur when spot buys are not present? Spot CVDs. I think you've got the wrong stream, my friend. I do not do any order flow juju. That is Big Mag. Hence why you are a fan of Mag and not a fan of Charlie. I long shitcoins, my friend. TLDR, lots of shorts. Buying pressure. Squeeze. Done. I think Mag's actually got a public video on it. Right now you're watching Magnus's father. God. 26.5. Yeah, I mean, so my view at the moment is it's really simple. We, as far as I'm concerned, we had a parabolic run-ish, right? It's not clean, it's not pretty, but it's been a very, very strong up move. We have basically, let's go a slightly higher time frame, so daily. So this, in terms of market structure, is not great. We are kind of at this point where this consolidation here is the deciding and pivotal point, in terms of this low here. So this, if we start moving down to here, then that is, a real cause for concern, I would suggest. Bear with me, because I don't like... I've got to use more of the screen, because I'm conscious that my screen is quite wide. Let's delete some of this shite. And to me, all of this kind of rests on CPI tomorrow, right? We're back in this consolidation, back in this, like, not necessarily expecting a hugely volatile move and just straight down. Obviously, that depends on tomorrow and CPI, but you know, I don't have a really strong bias coming into this from a directional perspective, and there's a few reasons that I've got that. So one is, obviously, this is kind of like a range. Two, market structure can kind of go either way. Currently, we are holding this, so we are. This is a higher low, and we can just potentially continue on. We're at a pretty pivotal point in terms of breaking out of this former range. In terms of, I don't know why I just draw all the time. I'm so trigger happy with the paintbrush. Yeah, we're at this former range high across here. This is where I was looking to short earlier, but obviously I didn't take the trade because I wasn't here. From a 4-hour perspective, that's the 50 on the RSI. Quite a bit of confluence to potentially build a short position in there, but I think I'm going to be flat. Yeah, CPI, FOMC, you know what I mean. Tomorrow. So, yes. We've held the low here, but I'm not going to just be directionally betting on an up move when we've got FOMC tomorrow. Yes, why did I say CPI? It's because I was arguing with my uncle, I think. He was telling me how CPI is wrong in the UK, and that it's actually about 20% on food as opposed to just 10 or 10.5 or whatever it was. Do I not use VWAP bands? No, Magus does. Magus uses them all the time. I don't mind them. I've been trying to incorporate them at times, but they are really, really good for at a glance trading. And like dynamic support and resistance, which is something I've been seeing over the timeline today. They are really, really good for it. Because it's just simple, isn't it? It's like Ichimoku kind of stuff. Yeah, which is like literal translation is at a glance. And they're obviously they're very different charting techniques, just to be clear. But yeah, it's nice. You paid $40 for a burger and fries delivery from Five Guys? Fuck me. Yeah, that's nuts. Inflation's like 9%. Yeah, that is nuts. So yeah, I mean, can I get short here? I could do. I could look for an aggressive short, but really there's not much in terms of actionable. There's kind of a divergence there, but I mean, Christ, look at that. You can't. No. No. What the fuck is that? No. So yeah, miss the trade, move on, take the next one, right? Just accept it. So I'm probably just going to stay flat into FOMC tomorrow and see what comes out of that. Will I play Sui launch? No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that either. Pretty fucking lazy at the moment. Are you guys playing the Sui launch? I think higher time frame kind of trends or trades that I'm looking for, they're kind of really simple plays, as always with me, to be honest. You know, should we get something moving back down here and any form of strength and just reclaim simple level 25k, then I could buy some spots. Equally, if we break above and hold this, presuming tomorrow is reasonable, then I could be convinced to basically buy some spot anywhere in here and sort of swing with a stop under this low. Market long to 50k. No. Market long to 100k. That's it. The banks are failing. 100k. Easy. Easiest long of my life. But really, yeah, it was going to take something pretty special. And the time to short, in my opinion, was simple. Lower high here. Why stop at 100? That's very true. It's very true. Why not a million? A plan B model said it's going to a million. So yeah, for me to get on board an aggressive short now, there's kind of nothing for me to get on board with a clear signal. $115k, perfect. Market wants $1 billion for Bitcoin. They just don't do it until World War III happens. Yeah, I mean, if that is the case, I'd rather Bitcoin stay at 28k or whatever it is. Purely because I'd rather not have World War III, to be honest, if that's the choice. If that's the choice. Yeah, I expect this is the move up now. Oh, there we go. But if we come down and close under here, that can be a fade. I kind of want to jump off stream and actually trade this, but we'll see. Yeah, let's not fuck up the human race just for a few dollars that we can't actually spend because everyone's dead. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been watching like ETHBTC. ETHBTC has basically been like absolute dog shit since last stream, which was about back here, and it's just died off. It looks like it's starting to round off a bit, get a bit of strength back. You know, RSI starting to actually move up. A little bit more strength, a little bit less aggression from the bears. But ETHBTC looking like shit, and risk off on Alt Spaghetti with everything being a low beta makes altcoins pretty tough to trade, I think. And you may as well just be trading BTC. You are trading BTC anyway, typically. But yeah. And the dollar, which, you know, meme trade got stopped out of, but let's delete some of these wonderful brush strokes. I think Magus has got a trade setup which is called like the rounded bottom, or big booty bottom, or something like that. And I mean, this is, yeah, you've had huge move down, starting to consolidate, starting to show some strength. You know, what happens? I mean, it's all going to be decided tomorrow, is the reality of it. But if this was any other chart, you'd probably be looking at that and saying, yeah, that's, yeah, it's kind of a double bottom. That move there, that higher low, is pretty strong. Let's see, it's going to moon. But yeah, these are the levels that I'm looking at. You know, reject the monthly pivot or not. Pass through, probably just risk off here, and then look for some form of rejection up here. So basically, similar to what NAS and SPX did, so all the way through here. So we will see. I'm not smart enough to correlate all the moves in the Japanese central bank, how they're positioning, or how, you know, OPEC or whatever they're called are determining oil prices, and how that therefore impacts the US dollar index and therefore risk on markets. So I'll just draw some fucking boxes on a chart instead. Hey, FEO7 STX going to moon. Not convinced. Not convinced. I'm not going to put my life savings in STX. I see DXY going up. I mean, not at this immediate moment in time. It appears to be going down. But yes, I think tomorrow will be pretty telling for the dollar. And, you know, reasonably, if it breaks above here, any other market, you'd be willing to long it. So why is the dollar different? And if you want to long the dollar up to here, then, you know, be my guest. You can do it on some exchanges. But for me, it just means I'm probably going to be risk off in terms of, you know, alt rotations, trading, etc. And look for some short opportunities. So tomorrow is unironically going to be a big day. But that's just how I see it, right? You've got to determine how you see it. Use whatever you want. Use some moving averages. You know, we're at whatever this arbitrary moving average is. Daily 33. Like, are we going to reject it? Are we going to stay in that downtrend? Don't know. Like, we're at that 50 level on RSI, which, you know, is a typically pivotal point for, you know, trend continuation. Like, we're trying to reverse the trend and absolutely fail, and then just continue to the downside. But yeah, my personal bias is we flip it and we actually have a bit of risk off time, which kind of coincides with the thoughts of, if you think about it from a cycle perspective, we're kind of at that peak degeneracy stage of the cycle. Like, risk has moved so far down the curve, it's now not in centralized altcoins. It's now in whichever dogshit Ponzi that people spin up, you know, overnight. The Pepes of the world, which is what we were talking about earlier, right? And that's not to say that I won't participate in those. Absolutely fine. And I think everyone, you know, should look at on-chain stuff and should consider putting a percentage of their portfolio in low caps and understanding how that space works. Because the reality is, you're never going to 1000x on a coin that's listed on Binance, right? It's just not going to happen. If it's on Binance, it's had most of its positive price appreciation, quite probably, in terms of multiples, right? Unless you get a ballistic bull market again. But you're never going to, 1000x on a coin on Binance, I don't think. I'd love to see a Bitcoin double bottom on 15.5k before the next cycle. That's very specific, my friend. Very specific. I mean, I think the massive upside that a lot of people probably aren't appreciating compared to how I feel other cycles went is that this has been extremely volatile, whether it's been up or down, right? There's been a lot to trade. And if you can trade both ways, even in like these consolidations here, right, even in like this, I think this is when CHZ was going wild and a few other coins were popping off. You know, there was a lot to trade. And there was a lot of trade going on here, there was a lot of trade going on here. There wasn't too much, I don't think, in like December time. I think December was really quiet. But there's been, you know, out of all the last year or two, like what percentage of it was tradable? I think a very high proportion of it was. Now, some people would say you can trade every single day, and you absolutely can if that's what you want to do. But, you know, for me and my trading style, it's plus EV for me to trade in certain times, and it's minus EV for me to trade in other times. So like now it's not a great time for me to trade because conditions aren't particularly risk on. Our rotations are basically mirroring at best BTC, and yeah, there's kind of no real advantage to having this. You know, you're better off being a Bitcoin order flow trader, I think, in these conditions, at least for the past week or two, or a complete on-chain degenerate. So yeah, I think we've actually been blessed with the volatility that we've had. Some of the narratives that we've had, you know, AI, for example, you know, we had various narratives back here, like I said, CHZ being one of them, which is what I traded for a few weeks back in November, I think it was, October, November. But yeah, AI, LDO, liquid staking, all this kind of stuff, Aptos, Arbitrum up here. You know, we've had quite a lot to get our teeth into in the past few months. Charlie, what are your thoughts on spot bag accumulation? Do I own any right now? I have bags of bits and pieces, right? But I don't have, like, I don't have a 25% of my net worth allocation to investments, which is what I had last cycle. I don't know if I'll ever get up to that percentage again, because obviously that, yeah. So obviously that, that percentage would be a higher number now, but that was my approach to it before. And I personally don't think that these are the conditions for me to do it. And that's kind of twofold, really. One is valuations on projects are ridiculously high, right? They're still, you know, projects still want between 10 and 100 million valuation for a white paper. So, you know, I could load up PowerPoint, whip up a presentation, go on Fiverr, get a nice logo, register a website, and try and raise, you know, $1 million at 10 million valuation. And people would probably invest if I bullshit it enough, which I find absolutely flabbergasting. But that's the Web3 that we live in, right? And that is kind of why we're all here, to make the most of these crazy valuations and really exploit that, and exploit that nuance of the market. Just throw the word AI in there. Yeah, exactly. AI, Doge, Tesla, Elon, some bullshit like that. SHIB 1 billion. Yeah. And there was a good fractal, actually, which probably covers my thoughts a little bit better. I'll see if I can dig it out. Let's go to monthly. But it was kind of this period here. Have you had that strong run up on SPX, had that sort of sell off, and you've had that pump afterwards, and then you just have this, like, absolute brutality. And yeah, I'm not going to be a naysayer, but, you know, why is that off the table? One day we will miss these crazy valuations when regulations take over. It's actually really difficult to regulate. So there's a big part of me that, you know, thinks about regulation. I think, what would I do if, you know, I was in the position of Gensler or whoever? And it's really difficult. It's too expensive, you cannot buy it. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I could be heinously wrong. But I'm waiting for something like this. Like, a real... Yeah, everyone's like, well, that's the Black Swan here. So, well, the Black Swan everyone knew about isn't a Black Swan, my friends. That's not how it works. But yeah, something like this, and I would be savagely deploying as much capital as I possibly could. And that's kind of part of the thought process behind it. It's also the thought process of, we've increased rates, market prices it in here, but actual real impact of those rate increases, it won't be felt until later on. And when it does start being felt and everyone realises that we're all fucked, sentiment really shifts, and then actually, you know, that point of maximum fear is where I would love to jump on board and deploy capital in pretty much everything I possibly can. So 3k SPX. Let's go. I'm going to come back to this video in like 5 years time, and it's either just going to have done this and we'll have all forgotten about it because we'll all be celebrating in our Peppy Doge Come Inu pajamas. Or it's dumped down here. 3,500 bottom? What? You think that was the bottom? Genuine question? No troll? You think that was the bottom and it's done and it's over? Sorry, just triggering my autism. So bottom 3,500? Wow. Could be the bottom. I mean it can be anything, right? I'm not precluding anything from happening and trying to be a moon Carl and say like, oh, this is definitely going to happen and it's definitely going to come down and retest 3k and blah blah blah. You know, if you normalize this with total money supply, then probably not. But that's what would get me super horny to just deploy a shit ton of capital. Whereas this kind of doesn't. 2800 SPX for Jim's sake. Yeah. That's a good question. I ranted about that for a little while, didn't I? Absolutely nailed it. So what shitcoins are we going to degen into? Let's get off the monthly. Oh, I'm not doing much interesting. Aptos was the one that I just want to short the lows on, which is really bad. What a Bitcoin price does 3k XPX coincide with? Oof, good question. It would probably be something redonkulous. Let's go 10k. I could be less lazy and actually work it out, but I reckon 10k. Maybe 11, 11.5, something like that. Imagine. Turbo? Is that even a... This is going to be some on-chain dog shit, isn't it? Oh god. Off to watch the football? Have fun, Born. Football died when Cantona quit. Charlie more bearish than Capo now? Good game. Yeah, that's it. This is a bear trap, but they won't trap me. Greatest trap I've ever seen. Whatever the fucking dumb quote is. He's a great engagement farmer. Set some stink bids at 6969 for the main. Yeah, top the market at 69k and bottom it at 696969. Well, 6969.69, you know what I mean. Imagine. I think if that actually happened, I'd probably just realise that this was all a simulation. And that would be the absolute icing on the cake. Do you know what I mean? Fully confirmed. But yeah, if you want trade alts, INJ's basically been the only one that's been worthwhile IMO. But even that, we were talking about shorting it up here last week. When those stops need a few new Ferrari. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to see a breakout and a failure up there to get on board an INJ short. Never happened. Never happened. But yeah, I'm just going to trade, well, I'm probably not going to trade now, but the idea for today was trade BTC, and then tomorrow just wait for the, as my daughter calls it, old man talking. Because I say, I've got to be at the PC, I want to trade this, and then she comes in and says goodnight to me, and she just sees me watching an old man talking. It's the usual, you know, Mr. Powell, when he gives his speech and stuff. So that's what she thinks I do as a quote-unquote job, sometimes. Right, well I've been banging on for an hour. And I haven't really said much. The TLDR is, wait till tomorrow. note some levels on BTC. Drawn for your viewing pleasure. ETH BTC continues to be shit, but if we get a nice move tomorrow and a bit of risk on, well, that could be lovely. Alts tend to be pretty shit, apart from obviously the one that I picked this morning. Lovely. Pat myself on the back. Well done, Charlie. And yeah, I think if you're going to be balls deep risk on at this point in time, you probably need your head checking. What's the meme? Back in my day, we gathered round to listen to an old man talk about what he was going to do with the price of money. Yeah, that's kind of it. That is literally what we did. Yeah, I think I'm going to go and record some content around psychology, around things to do during these times where, you know, your trading system and risk tolerance doesn't match the market. So unless anyone's got any brilliant questions in the next 3 minutes, then I will bid you all adieu. Daddy makes money talking to old men at night. Yeah, I actually probably need to be careful with how she portrays that, don't I? I've never thought of it like that. Yeah, any questions, chat, any comments, any queries, any wonderful insights, any dogshit coins you want me to look at quickly, or any of that kind of stuff? Are any of you still trading on Bybit? Or are you all too afraid of KYC? FTM. Fuck me. It's depressing when you look at basically this. So it's almost a fractal, isn't it? The kind of, you know, that and that. KYC with nude selfie. Lovely. I mean, it's not in a horrific place in terms of it's still above kind of this previous breakout, just if you squint. So, not terribly bad. Nice invalidation if you if we get some positive risk on news tomorrow. But like I said, on pretty much every alt, it's just looking dire in terms of beta to BTC. So I wonder if there's any reasonable divergences, but it's not really doing enough for it to be actionable. You know, I'm looking at this across here, which, you know, 1 isn't a divergence because they're in the same direction. 2, you know, this is not what we want to see. But yeah, down here, could have been. It wasn't, but it could have been. So yeah, if you want to take a, you know, 50-50 bet, you've got a real clean invalidation. But personally, I always long strength and wait for strength. You know, I would rather see FTM be relatively strong compared to the rest of the market, and I would rather play a breakout of essentially this consolidation here. You know, confirm that we respect the pivot, and then start showing me strength and potentially breaking out. So entry 1 would be here, and entry 2 would be there. Now, that's me personally and my risk appetite, because I would rather deploy my capital into a strong moving asset than guess that this is going to be the one that is high beta. Does that make sense? Krispy Kreme, my donut friend. Should we finish on Jewel? Yeah, the problem that I've got generally with shorting, I'm gonna bonk it between 0.8, like me, mate. That's a lot. The problem that I've got with shorting a lot of these, like, these alts at this moment in time is, you know, I prefer shorting when it's like this. I prefer shorting the end of euphoric moves. Like INJ was the one that I talked about, a metric ton, and yeah. What have we got? We got Blur that was moving the other day. You know, when you look at FTM, I suppose just stick with FTM. You know, it's much harder for me to just short into that, like essentially a continuation move to the downside. I'd rather fade something and get on board that kind of setup. So if my breakout attempt here failed, and I got, you know, something like this, and we got that move back into this range, then I'd be happy to take the short on that side. Cheers, fan of Mag, aka Magus. So yeah, equally, you know, key inflection points around potential bullish moves can be the same on the other side as well for me. So my long setup failed. Max has closed his phone. I suppose at least I get 2 viewers out of it, right? Yeah, I think that's probably enough on FTM. Any other comments, queries? If not, I'll shoot off. Love you all and leave you. And maybe we do a stream live tomorrow instead with some. Oh no, I think I'm doing a group stream tomorrow. But yes, GG everyone. Much love. How about XRD? Wrecked. Oh. Good night. Give you a different view. Excellent. Well, yes, thank you all for being here. Hit follow. Hear the wonderful, joyous voice of Michael Saylor say there is no second best. And I will see you again next week. Or I might see you again later on this week. I'll try and keep to a regular time slot. And maybe do a couple of YouTube shorts. Because why not, hey? Why not? But thank you all for being here, and I'll see you soon. Au revoir.
He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.